Today, I am joined by, I'm actually not allowed to say his resume because the guest does not want me to rattle off all of his, how many games he's played, the big introduction. He says he's not worthy. So welcome to the Warne's Way podcast, Bam Bam Baker. But actually, before I start, I'll say one of Dad's best mates and somebody that Dad felt immensely safe anywhere he was in the world, Vegas, Australia, Gold Coast, in any situation. You made all of us feel the happiest and safest. So welcome to the podcast, Bakes.
Thank you, Jack. That's a good.
Was that okay?
No, that was beautiful. Thank
I
you.
actually could have introduced you as Dad's bodyguard. I should have said this is Dad's bodyguard, Stephen Bam Bam Baker.
No, we could have, but no. I was always around, and I'd always have his back. But there was never a situation where that was needed. So we just
never at all.
No, I don't think. There's a few times where you might step in and push
there
someone back a little bit, but nothing too major.
Yeah, but wasn't there a time in Vegas where it got very close to a fight? I reckon there was someone, like Dad was trying to order a drink and some American was just being really, really loud and rude and cutting in, and Dad's like, come on, mate, and there was nearly a fight?
Yeah, little one. It was just a little bit of a push off, so get back.
Can't get into it, though.
Bam Bam Bacon, nearly the old Colac days back in.
Yeah, we can't talk about it, though?
No, it was nothing really eventuated. So it was
Didn't
just a few fist clenches, but nothing happened. So it was all good.
Well, going back to Colac, that's obviously where you're from, on the country. Can I call it in the country? Not on the country, in the country. Yep. Brothers and sisters?
Older brother Mick, younger sister Vicky.
Yes, and you're still very close with both of them?
Yep, still very close.
And so growing up on the farm and in Colac, in the country town, do you reckon that's where all of your sort of toughness and your gritty and your mindset and attitude all came from?
Yeah, I think so. I have an older brother, so he's always a lot bigger than me. So a bit of resilience there. We always used to beat each other up. I think that's why my sister's so tough. I used to beat her up.
Yeah.
And my brother's got the same. He's got three kids, but the two brothers and the sister, the same sort of family, and that's exactly the same thing happening there.
Yeah.
But I think a bit of adversity, a bit of going through hard times makes you a bit more resilient. So I think
and it's something that not many people go through anymore at a young age, and that's probably why we see a lot of PC or a lot of weaker sort of mindsets, or as soon as something goes wrong, it's always they don't know how to deal with it, so they just lash out and do something extreme.
Yeah.
So growing up, even in your late teens, early 20s, especially on the footy field, which we'll get to soon, but before we get to the footy field, there was obviously situations in Colac where you had to be resilient. You had to be tough. You had to defend your brothers and sisters.
Yeah. The old tough streets of Colac. My brother and I used to get in a bit of trouble together. He used to start it, and I won't say I used to finish it, but we used to get in a bit of trouble together. We used to love having a good time on a Saturday night, and got ourselves in a few altercations. Ended up in the police station at one stage, giving statements and stuff. But it was all in a bit of fun, and Colac was sort of like the normal back growing up. So
So were you almost like a little local legend when you're down at the Colac pub? People go, shit, that's Bakes.
No, I think it was I don't think it definitely wasn't a local legend. It was sort of more, there's Bakes, let's get him.
Really? So you reckon
I think that's what the Colac, I think I got whacked one night, just sitting on a stool. Someone come up and give me a bit of a king hit from behind. Knocked me off my stool. So I think it was definitely not the local legend. Yeah,
but people, I don't want to say they feared you, but they were like, shit, that's Bakes.
Oh, my brother and I used to do all right in the old street fights. So I wouldn't say they feared me, but
Well, you definitely have like a presence around you that you sort of. I don't really want to mess with you. Like, I know when I'm with you, I feel very safe, and I know Dad felt the same. And we obviously saw that a lot on the St Kilda footy oval. But before we go to all of that, there's so many stories. What was it like getting drafted? Because I know when you got drafted, you were like, I don't want to call you a mongrel, but you had a very interesting. You were from the country. You had a very interesting haircut at the time. You had like a bit of like a chip on your shoulder.
The screen now,
we can do a flash on the screen. Yeah. But go back to what it was like getting drafted from Colac. Has there been many AFL players from Colac?
Lukey Hodge. There's been a few.
Hodgie.
Hodgie, our great mate. But it was a massive surprise because I sort of scraped into the Geelong Falcons and wasn't expecting to make that. I think the coach told me the first training session I got invited to train there, and they said, you're not going to make it. But
at St Kilda?
No, at Falcons.
At Falcons.
So I got told I wasn't going to make the Falcons, and slid in there. I was the last picked. I got heaps of tackles in the last practice game. sat on the bench all year in the Falcons, and I think it was only a couple of weeks before the finals. The coach said, "We love your tenacity, but you're just a shit kick, and we're too scared to put you in because your skills are hopeless." And they said, "Can you tag someone?" And I didn't even know what that really meant. Oh, what's that mean? Well, there's another kid he was averaging 40 possessions, and that was my first tagging role. And then I ended up playing the finals for the Falcons, and I think John Beveridge, the St Kilda recruiter, was there that day on the grand final day, and he was probably there to watch the guy that I was tagging. Towed him up, but we got flogged on that game, Murray Bushrangers, and he was the only recruiter that showed interest. He came down, met mum and dad, and I said, imagine if I got drafted. And a few of the boys jokingly came out to have a barbecue on draft day, and we'd had a massive night the night before, and I'm hungover on the couch and asleep. And I just hear this eruption from outside, and my brother and my mates come in, I got elbowed in their head, and I'm like, what the fuck's happening? And looked up, and my name, Stephen Baker, was on the screen. It was just flashing off. I was like, what's happened? They said, going to the Saints. And then the phones rang. Yeah, and
what number? Do you remember?
It was 27.
27.
So it was early in the draft. I remember saying, wake me up after pick 70 or something. Yeah. Like 90 picks, I can't remember. But wake me up later just in case I scrape into the last pick of the day. And then, then all the phone rings, and I'm like hungover, still half drunk from the night before. And then Tim Watson, hey, Bakes, it's Tim Watson here, mate. Oh, yeah, right, who's this? It's like, what is going on? And and then got to the first train. I missed the first training session ever. I got drunk with Barry Hall and Austin Jones. Woke up in a wet bed thinking I'd weed the bed, but apparently Barry Hall had thrown a bucket of water on me, and we had training at 7 a.m. and I walked in there at like 11 a.m. and the big tough trainer, I think his name was Fish, he took me through a gut session. I threw up, and he goes, Tim Watson doesn't want to hear from you until training on Monday. So I'd like the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, and that was my introduction. So massive surprise to get drafted, and then nearly got delisted before I started. Tim Watson said, you nearly gone on the first train back to Colac. So
wow. And do you think when you got drafted, you would have ever thought it was for your role of being a tagger? Like, did you have an idea of why you'd been drafted? Do you think it was because of your tagging ability? I
think so. Steve Uzilla was the tagger. He was coming to the end of his career. We've had a beer, and he goes, "Oh, you took my job, you little prick." So jokingly. So I think, I think Johnny Beveridge. I don't know if he went to the Falcons looking for a tagger, and he might have saw me on the day, but this guy he's doing all right. So my haircut did stand out, the ponytail and the undercut.
The dreadlocks as well, wasn't it? I think.
No, I had an like a ponytail. Yeah. It was sort of, it looked
very Viking.
It looked a bit
aggressive,
bit out there. But Johnny Beveridge said, you just stood out and you kept on getting the ball, and it was like, so it was a bit of luck, right place, right time, but not giving up. And
I think Dad used to talk about luck all the time. Sure, you can get lucky in sport; that's all a part of it. But you create your own luck. So, for example, you say you got lucky that you got drafted, but you created your own luck by tagging a really good player on that day. So your opportunity was almost tag this person, you do well, and you might get drafted. You obviously didn't know that at the time. Yeah. But look what happened from it.
100%. I think even with the Falcons, they said, look, I'm not going to be in the team, but they had a practice match. They said, you want to come and fill the numbers? And that's why I had like 15 tackles in the practice match, and the coach overrode the Mick Turner's decision. He was the the president of the club, and he said no, and the coach said no, I want this little guy in there because he's showing more effort and whatever, and then overturned and scraped into the Falcons, and then I nearly quit Falcons because I was sitting on the bench and just sort of hanging in there, getting a little nudge from my dad and brother, said no, just stick out the season, and so it's ended up well.
So that was like probably your first test of resilience in sport, not like away from the footy field, but that was your first sort of having to be resilient, getting told you're not going to make the Falcons or you might not get drafted. We don't really need you. And then you got that opportunity and you proved yourself.
Yeah, well, I think, and also just some little nudges from my brother and my dad. Like I was like, you always need some help from your friends, I think. And but I had that natural resilience. Like I'd go in, I'd get banged around. I didn't really care about that side of things, but not getting on the ground where I could do what I wanted to do, try and hurt people or tackle people, play good footy. But not even getting a chance to get out there. That's what got to me. Yeah. And that's why I nearly sort of quit a few times, but just hanging in there.
But me and Dad used to joke with you that you just never felt pain. Like you just couldn't feel pain. You're invincible. We never saw you like hurt. And for whatever reasons, arm wrestles, dead arms, you just were invulnerable to them.
Actually, I got undefeated.
You are undefeated in the arm wrestles. And was that something even when you were just drafted in your first year, second year, third year at the Saints, you just were like you had a very strong body? Was that something you worked on when you were at St Kilda?
No, I think because I was always really small growing up, so I was always when I had my late growth spurt, I think I was pretty resilient and tough. And at the Saints, I definitely wasn't the toughest bench press wise and chin ups. I think I got the worst in the whole club. I was the shortest kick.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely wasn't the strongest. But when it comes to sort of mental challenges, I remember we did a challenge. Lee Montagna spoke about it. You had to hold your arms out.
Yeah.
And I won that out.
You had it for like over 2 hours.
I think it was 7 hours. 7 hours.
7 hours. You held your arms like this for
7 hours. Yeah, well, it started during the day and it went to the night time. It was like all players and staff, and so I like to think I've got a good mind, strong mind.
Yeah.
But that's sort of been tested the last couple of years.
Yeah.
But back in the day, I'd say my mindset was my weapon.
Well, you've got one of the most resilient mindsets I've ever seen, and as a close friend of yours, it's inspiring for me to see how resilient you are. And we'll talk about it soon, but you've managed to make a business from it. But I want to keep talking about Saints because I'm a Saints fan, and that's. We don't like to talk about it. I did go for Essendon and Freo very, very, very briefly.
How did your dad allow that?
Well, I actually don't know, but Dad being Dad, when I was going for Freo, okay. Have you heard the stories of Essendon and Freo? I don't want to bore the listeners too much because they've probably heard this a few times, but obviously I was Saints growing up, whole life. Yeah. But then when I was collecting footy cards, I loved Matthew Lloyd and I loved the colours black and red, so I started going for Essendon. That's where I got my lucky number 18 from. Phone number, roulette number, jersey, everything. Yeah, everything's 18. And Dad knew that. So he surprised me one day and he said, when he picked me up from school, he said, there's someone waiting out the back for you that wants to meet you. I said, what do you mean? He's like, oh, he's just out the back. Do you want to come meet him? I said, obviously. So we go out the back and it's Matthew Lloyd with a 18 jersey and a Sharon saying, come on, Jacko, let's have a kick to kick. So we had a kick to kick for a few hours, got a photo, he gave me a jersey. One of the coolest, and I still remember it so vividly at Park Street. And so that was my Essendon phase. Okay, and also Park Heath. Park Heath, Dad's dad, my grandpa, also goes for Essendon.
Oh, I didn't know that either.
So that was my Essendon phase. Then I went back to the Saints. And then for whatever reason, me and Dad were having a funny argument. And I said, you know what? I'm going to go for the team furthest from St Kilda. So I started going for Fremantle. And I also fell in love with Matthew.
Just to piss him off?
To piss him off, make him frustrated. But I also loved Matthew Pavlich. I reckon he was a great forward. I just loved the big forwards. Yeah. Anyway, Dad organised at the MCG for me to run out with Fremantle. So I ran out with Fremantle. Me and Dad were having kick-to-kick and shots on goals. That phase didn't last long, but I'm back at the Saints.
It's weird he's trying to get you to go to a different team, though.
I think he was like, as you know, he was never somebody that forced me to, you got to do this, you got to do that. He's like, if you want to go for Freo, you want to do whatever you want. He was very like that. But back at the Saints now. Love the Saints.
Love the Saints.
Do you, when you were at the Saints, have a closer sort of circle or lots of mates that you still stay very close with?
Yeah, there's a group that we all catch up every year. There's obviously I was always good mates with Lenny. I think he's someone that I tied to early. I thought he was a real nerd when I first met him. He won the Morris medal in the under-18s. And
what's the Morris medal?
The league best and fairest.
Yeah.
So when I met him, I thought, he's a bit...
So were you both in the same league when you were playing for the Falcons?
I think I was meant to tag him one time when he was injured, so I was bagging him. You're too scared to face me. And I met him, and I thought, he's a bit of a nerd. But then a year later, we're best mates. And probably without him, my professionalism was not great.
Yeah.
Coming from Colac, I was still going out on weekends, but his professionalism sort of lifted me up, which I think.
So he just had very high standards of rocking up to training early, going that little bit extra.
Yeah, he just do everything right, like Rewald and the other boys. But I think me being mates with him sort of got me through my first 2 years. I thought I'd literally go there for 2 years, get my contract done, and then go back to Colac and play local footy. That's in my brain. That's how I was doing it. But I think surrounding yourself with those people. Yeah.
Well, you're a product of your environment, and you end up having a 10+ year career. Played, was it 201?
203.
203 games. Where's my research? Shit, I've failed my research. Sorry, Bam Bam.
203. Yeah.
No, I knew it was 203. I just wanted to see if you remembered. But yeah, you've played 203 games. It's hard, so it's very hard for players to even, not alone, get picked, but actually play season on season. And I think to the public, we think, he's only played 100 games, or he's only played 150 or 200. We don't maybe give them the respect or the credit that they deserve, because we only really focus on the 300+ gamers and the 350s and all the highest goals, high disposals. Yeah. But to even get 100 games or 200 games is a massive milestone and a massive achievement, which I've told you before. So well done, Baker, for getting 203 games.
Thank you.
But when you're at the Saints tagging, that was your main role. Have you got any, if you can think of, like your top 3 games or the top 3 plays that when you were tagging that you're most proud of for keeping to a certain amount of disposals?
I remember my first game ever tagging was Buddha Hocking. That was what he just gave me the biggest welcome to the AFL. He walked up and just palmed me in the face, broke my nose.
Oh.
He said, "Welcome to the AFL."
In your first game?
Very first game. But I kicked 2 goals. And I just end up with the ball in my hand. And just,
for somebody that can't kick, you kicked 2 goals in your first game.
Yeah, and I don't know how that happened, but that just sticks in my memory, that first game. Chris Judd, I think I had the better of him a few games. Yep. Gary Ablett, I used to love playing him.
Yep.
Stevie Johnson, so all different players. I used to love Jeff, playing on Jeff Farmer, trying to beat him up a bit.
Yeah.
They're probably the main ones that stick out. Ben Cousins, I got stuck on him for a little bit. He's probably my hardest.
Ben Cousins, because he could just keep running.
Didn't stop running.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Did you have any sort of tactics or unique Bam Bam Baker abilities that separated you from all of the other taggers? Because I remember you telling me stories. You used to do something to your boots before games. Did you do something? Did you used to do something?
Well,
was there tactics you used to do to just have an edge?
Well, the Telstra Dome, the surface was slippery, so I used to sharpen my stops. I had metal stops.
Yeah.
So I sharpened my stops, and it wasn't for standing on people's feet. But then I accidentally stood on someomon's foot one day when I was standing up, and they were down, and I was going, oh, and I was just going, and then I was getting, I think the older I got, the sort of dirtier I got, but I did have different tactics.
So you didn't get more mature, you just actually got more smarter.
Smarter and dirtier.
And dirtier.
But I had tactics, when the ball was getting bounced. Chris Judd, for example, he loved zooming through packs, and his timing was unbelievable. Where Ablett was he'd stand out and he'd time his run around the back and get the handball. Yep. So Chris Judd, I would try and get his timing off, and when the ball's bounced, I'd whack him in the guts or stand on his foot at that timing.
Yeah.
He had enough of me one day and gave me a big back elbow and got 2 weeks. So little tactics for each player. Like I'd study tapes. Like everyone just thought, I was a dumbass tagger, but I'd study tapes, which way they like to run, obviously what foot they kick on, that kind of thing. What I think the tactic I thought would work on them. But other tactics, I'd pull underarm hairs out. That really hurt and annoyed people.
Underarm hairs.
That's how I was getting Stevie J when he turned around and he gave me the big elbow in the game. But
when you're obviously playing for the Saints and you're getting coached by different coaches and all that sort of stuff, are they aware of the tactics you're doing, or do you ask them for permission first, or tell them what you're going to do, or do they just say, Bakes, Juddy's your man, just keep him to as many disposals as possible? I don't want to know about it, but that's your role.
Yeah, the coaches didn't know about any
of that.
They
didn't know about
the stop.
They just see their numbers lower and they go, well done, Bakes.
Yeah.
Do it again next week.
Keep him under 15 touches, 20 touches. Usually get a pat on the back. Doesn't matter what you do. Obviously, you don't want to get reported. I get it because I was reported. I think someone said I was at the tribunal 15 times for 15 guilties, never been done before. First player to ever do it.
Yeah.
So I sort of regret going, I'd overstep the line and miss games, which would probably hurt the team if they've got someone to tag. So I sort of regret that a little bit, going a little overstepping the mark, but there was a fine line, I suppose.
Do you know how many weeks you have been suspended for?
It was over 30, I think.
So you've missed 30 games.
I might have been 36.
You missed 36 games.
I think so, yeah.
That's like nearly 2 seasons.
Well, I don't know. After Campbell Brown, I think, because I've missed a few.
You guys have got the record, don't you?
I think Campbell's got more than me.
Yeah. Does Toby Green have more now?
Yeah, I think he's been suspended more.
But not total amount of weeks. You and Brown Dog have still got the most.
Not sure.
Do you reckon there'd be many taggers nowadays that would be able to do the stuff you were doing?
I don't think you'd get away with it. I wasn't getting away with it, and there was not much camera footage. There was a few that they didn't even have footage at the Farmer incident. I got 7 weeks. They didn't have any footage.
Yeah. What was the Jeff Farmer incident?
Well, it was a bit of a headbutt. It was like Aaron Hamill and I. We had we were playing in Tassie one year, and Farmer was being a dick. He was being abusive and saying, he's going to do something to our families. And Hamill and I think it was half time, had a little bet. We said, whoever can get this little bastard stretch it off, we'll get $1,000.
Yeah.
So I always we couldn't get him that game. I remember Hamill just missed him. And it was a couple of years later, and I was tagging Farmer, and we were sprinting down one wing into their forward line. The ball was way over the other side, but they had it. It was going down. It was on a fast break. And I was 10 metres in front of Farmer, but he was quick. and he was catching me fast going into the forward 50, and I thought, this is it. There's going to be no cameras here because the ball's so far away the other side, and I just turned around and I think in the tribune I said, he ran into the back of my head, but it was a turnaround and made a sickening crack, and I looked back and
you could hear it.
Yeah, hear it, and he wasn't really moving, and then I was like, I'm going to win $1,000 here. So I was sort of a bit worried about getting suspended, but there was no footage, but I think a lot of the things that little hits in the guts and that, they pick them up these days.
Yeah.
And,
do you think in a way the game is getting a little bit softer and softer with the more rules, with the more punishments, with what you can and can't do anymore? Do you think it's completely changed from when you used to play to now?
No, definitely. I think even back in the early days, you could chop someone's arm. So as a defender, it was a lot easier to beat your opponent because you could chop their arms. Where now, if they get half a metre on you, there's no way you can really stop a mark without.
Can you, when you were playing, could you feel that the game was slowly changing, or did it just change in the last few years after you'd retired?
Yeah, I felt like there was a few rules changing. I think I got 2 rules changed.
Did you?
No attacking an injured player after I was hitting Stevie J in the hand.
Yeah.
And another one
So is that a rule now? If somebody's injured, you can't...
I think, I'm pretty sure that's a rule.
But could players now not... Because I didn't know that. Could players not pretend to be injured? Like they could tape up their shoulders, or they could do some sort of thing to say, I'm injured, and that means that person could be protected?
Yeah, I don't know what the rule exactly the rule is, but I remember Rewalt was getting attacked when he was off the ground. I was thinking, that's a bloody... He was walking off with the shoulder, and he was still on the ground, and the Brisbane guys were getting into him.
Yeah.
But I think, Stevie J, I think he broke his hand on my head. He reckons it wasn't, but he punched me that hard in the head, and I was attacking his broken hand because I knew he was holding it, and then they changed the rule after that. You're not allowed to attack an injured player.
Wow.
And throwing people down after they'd handballed the ball away. A little tactic where I'd just grab them and throw them on the ground, try and hurt them. Yeah. And it would slow the play down.
Give him a free kick. Bring the ball back. You've got players.
And we were zoning back then, so we were doing a full press zone, and it would give us time.
Yeah.
So I think it was Grant Thomas. You've got to tell all the boys. You got to tell all the boys that one. And
so
then the rule got changed, so now it's 50 metres.
So they didn't used to have the 50 metres when.
No.
So you have got 2 rules.
I have changed the game.
You've literally changed the game. That's a legacy to be renowned.
I'm not one to be very proud.
Or proud or not proud, you came in and you, in theory, can call it maybe pioneering or the first to do something, but you were the first to do something that I guess could be deemed a new strategy, but because it was physical and people were getting hurt, you were smart, as you said before. You were getting smarter as you got older, but they had to bring in a new rule for it.
Yeah, exactly.
But what can you do?
Can't do much.
When you finish Saints, I'd love to pick your brain on your entrepreneurship. Actually, sorry, before going, no, then we'll go. That's just. I'm excited.
There's too much to talk about.
I know. I'm excited about this podcast because I'll give some context. You were one of Dad's closest mates, and obviously having on this podcast would be emotional, and we don't even have to talk about Dad if you don't want to. But
got to talk about your dad, don't you?
I know, but I know how much it means to me and how important this is to me. But I understand how emotional this could be for you to come on this podcast. So I know I didn't already intro with it, but Bakes, thank you so much for coming on because it really does mean a lot. This to me, I know I've been persuading you over the last few months to say, come on, Bakes, this is your turn, your turn. And I hope you're not doing this because you feel guilty or not pitying to come on it. I hope you actually do want to come on the podcast.
Of course I wanted to come on.
No, thank you for coming on, Bakes. But going back to your entrepreneurship after Saints and all that had finished, where did that come from? Because I reckon when we first met and you just finished retiring, you started doing teas. Is that right? Slim tea? Is it Slim tea?
I started with weight loss. While I was playing footy, I was doing a weight loss product.
Yeah.
Done some Slim tea. I've done I've even done skincare.
Yes.
And you and your dad and I were talking about doing a product together.
Collagen.
Yeah, collagen and weight loss. You were going to be our muscle man for our protein. But I think I've just always had it. Dad used to have it. Mum's always found things in the garage. Oh, yeah, these are the things your dad used to sell. So something's in the blood. Yeah. My brother's got it. His kids are starting to get it now. They're sort of thinking outside the box now and thinking about making money and so it's just it's just always been in the blood. I'm always I like keeping busy doing things.
Has there been one that you're most proud of, like one of your businesses that you've started that you've been really sort of impressed by, or you didn't think you'd be having as much fun doing?
Recently since your dad passed, doing talks on mental health.
Yes.
So I started a thing called Build Grit. So I think when your dad passed, and that after the New Year's, like, it was probably 10 years I hadn't spent a New Year's with your dad, and you've given me the message and say, hey, do you want to come down to give me the I won't say token invite, but yeah.
It was never a token invite, mate.
Not a token invite,
No,
but yeah.
whenever I'm organising anything like that, the first people I'd ask is you Hamill Bakes. You Dimmer Hamill.
Yeah.
You Dimmer Hamill. You were dad's closest friends, you were his closest family, and you did feel like family. I've said it before, you made us feel safe, you made us want to laugh and be happy. But more importantly, you made Dad feel safe, and he trusted you guys. So, no, definitely not.
No, I didn't mean token, but like, me and your dad did our thing, and you had your parties, and we had our parties, and it was sort of obviously that year it was got a message from you. It was come down to Sorrento, and so I went down there, and I was a little bit, and I'd been going through a bit of shit. I didn't want to leave home, going through depression, and that I thought this might snap me out of it, going down and have a good time. But it was sort of, I remember it was like 12 o'clock. I think it was you, Cara, and I were sitting there, and I had a bit of a tear. We had a bit of a group hug at 12 o'clock, and I think I snuck out. I went back to yours and had a few drinks, and I was crying still. And I was like, got to get out of here. And then went back to my mate Troy Swartz's house, and he'd accidentally locked me out. So I was like, sleeping outside. I'm thinking, oh, shit, I just want to get home. And then I remember Troy woke me up in the morning, and I was like, mate, I want to get home. Walked to the car, and I had a flat tire, and I was like, fucking hell, what is going? And I just wanted to get home. And I remember driving home that day, just being in my darkest time, and remember driving, thinking, there was a truck coming. I'm thinking, I don't care if this truck hits me. That's the sort of dark spot I got to. And then you flashed into my head, thinking, fuck, what kind of example I'm being for Jackson. You were, I remember I was thinking I should be a mentor for you, and you were the one that was being strong for you, your family and me. I thought, fuck this. When I get back to Melbourne, I'm going to turn my life around and get off the couch, start getting back into my fitness.
Keep going. No, you're fine. Just in case.
We don't need tissues. No.
You're good.
And that was, I got back, and I remember I messaged my mate Maddie Ferguson, and he goes, I'm going to turn up on your door at 8 a.m. next day. And we went for a run. I hadn't ran in a couple of years. I had every excuse under the sun. I was in that darker spot. I just sort of I was sort of believing my own bullshit. Then I can't run anymore. And so, we went for this run. It was only going to be like a kilometre. We ended up running 10 kilometres. But I think just that, the mindset, I can still do hard things. And I remember you saying, if Dad was looking down, I was listening to your thing for motivation and how strong you were being for your sisters. And I was like, shit, look at Jacko. He's off the piss. He's doing this. So that's what I thought I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do, and turn to fitness and my mates, and that's when I sort of booked in for an Ironman and started getting my life back on track. So I want to thank you for your guidance. I was meant to be the big brother sort of mentor, but and that started Build Grit, where I got invited to do one talk about speaking up, and that's what I try and do now. Speak up about going through shit times, being the tough footy player, struggling. And putting my hand up and saying I need help with my mate, and then it was sort of rolled into one talk, another talk, and I remember you've been to a few. You've given your time up, more than once for me. So it's sort of turned into a thing now. I talk at primary schools and footy clubs, and it's turned into something pretty special. So thanks for giving me a little kick up the arse.
No, all good, Bakes. I don't want to say it like it is very sad what both of us have to go through with losing Dad, because he did have such he just made us all feel a very special way, like we were indestructible, we were invincible, that no matter what happened would always be okay. And I'm sorry you have to go through all of that, but it's inspiring what you've had to go through, because what was so negative, you've made it into such a positive. Like, yes, it's shit that I lost my dad and you lost your best mate, but you've managed to inspire so many kids and people you go and talk to now when you go to Tassie, Gold Coast, literally all around Australia, talking to old and younger people about your story. And if Dad hadn't have passed, your story might not be the same, and there might have been someone listening to your story that you've helped. So we've both, in a way, but especially you.
Especially you.
Especially you. You've turned, again, what was so shit into something that can help people, which is exactly Build Grit and teaching resilience, because it's almost like a dying sort of emotion, that resilience, because people don't have that anymore because they're sort of growing up in a very comfortable and safe environment that they're not open to or exposed to adversity. But you've gone through so much of it your whole life, and especially in the last few years, that now it's your turn to help sort of the younger generation.
No, 100%.
And I've been to those shows, and you talk so well. You talk from the heart. You speak about your journey, not necessarily only about Dad, but I have literally heard people tell me, they go, fuck, Bakes, he's a great man, Bam Bam. No. He's helped me through X, Y, Z. And I know you were meant to, or you thought you were meant to be my mentor, but you still are. You still are my mentor. I might not even tell you, or you might not feel it, or you might not know it, but you are.
Thanks, Tom.
It's inspiring to see. No, it is. It's inspiring to see you do your build grit and to see how passionate you are, because it's real and it's very genuine. So well done, Bakes.
Thanks, Jacko. No, I think it's been eye-opening, sort of travelling around and telling the story and sort of realising that everyone's going through their own shit, like you, your sisters, your family. And it's just, you hear so many stories out there, and I think it's where everyone's going to lose someone they love eventually. And to sort of go through it, I think, because I think we had the best life with your dad as my best friend, the travelling and, the golfing, poker, all the trips we were going on. Like, I was about a week before he passed. I said, well, I think I've ever been this happy since my dad passed away. And we had a big hug, and it was all emotional. And then a week later, so it was like, have the best life in the world. And it was like, shit, your best mate's gone. So it's, everyone's going to go through something like that. So it's like to speak about it and prepare people. Look, there's bad times coming. I think that's sort of the main message of the grit. So
yeah. And it is real. You are right. Everybody is going to lose a loved one soon. Obviously, you lost your dad and I lost our dad at a very young age, and it's very shit to go through, but it almost is the natural way. Like, it would be, I feel more sorry for my pa Keith, because he's lost a son, and normal, like, nature would be, son and so forth and so forth. But it was unnatural for Dad to pass away first, and I think he'd be very proud of you. I'd like to say he'd be proud of me too. So maybe he'd be very proud of both of us. But even like, we're in his old storage unit warehouse, we're in the place where we used to play poker. Can you sort of, when you're in this room, feel him, like his atmosphere?
No, definitely walking in here, it's like just thinking about those bad beats. We just watched the little video. It's like, just brings back all those emotions. And we always used to love bad beating him, because he just hated it, because he was so competitive in anything we did. And just, you got to remember all the good times. Like with my grit talks, the G stands for gratitude, and I think at least we got to spend that time with him, those 20 or so years, and be so close. And obviously, some people don't get that time. So I think walking in here is just, it was all a sort of a whirlwind of emotions, all the good times, and you sort of get sad. And but you just got to try and think appreciate the good times that we've had. And obviously it's led to us sitting here talking about it.
Exactly.
You're doing amazing. So I won't say everything happens for a reason, but you've got to roll on.
And also what you mentioned is very tough. Most men don't sort of put their hand up and say, I need help, or I'm upset, or I have depression, or all these things, because we're sort of, in our instinct, we always just try and brush it off. Yeah, we're fine. Yeah, we're fine. We try to sort of either bury it or deal with it ourselves. I know for me, I was somebody that if I had things going on in my life, or if I was really sad, or there was just shit going on, I would never ever address it. I would just bury it and never talk about it. Hope it would one day go away, maybe turn some of that anger or sadness into the gym, or channel that energy into the gym. And I think that's what I did in a few situations. But for you to do your grit talks and put your hand up and say, I was depressed and, I was upset, but you've come out the other end stronger and inspiring lots of people. It's amazing, Bakes. So
thanks, Jacob.
What did sorry, you go?
No, I was just going to say, I just remember when Dad passed, I swept everything under the rug, emotions, didn't want to say I was struggling, and went on for years. So still playing local footy. My house was the party house. I'd get my weekly wage and just spend it on booze and bloody drugs sometimes. And that was after, it was probably 2 years of sort of darkness, and it was a slow grind out where, looking back at that, after I lost your dad, it was 9 months or something till New Year's, and then was thinking, shit, what helped me through those tough times? And that was getting back into fitness, surrounding yourself with good people. So you definitely learn from it, and then I'd like to think that this time I've learned some lessons, and that's what I'm trying to pass on. Where the grit that I talk about, gratitude's a big thing for me now, and resilience, doing morning routines, and listening to inspiring stuff like your podcast, and teamwork. So always, if you're struggling, reaching out to someone, putting your hand up. So I think like 75% of people that commit suicide are men.
Yep.
I think it's because a lot of us bottle things up. So I think that's the main message with my talks.
Yeah, well, you're doing amazing, Bakes. And so the other letters for grit: gratitude, resilience,
inspiration,
and teamwork. And do you have anybody that inspired you?
Probably my big brother Mick got me into footy. Even though he was hard on me when I was younger, I think that made me who I am today.
Yeah.
And I've mentioned you getting through these tough times.
I've inspired you, yeah.
Well, I never told you, but you were being the strong man of your family, and I remember your mum saying, "I can look after Jackson." Not long after your dad passed, and I thought, "Yeah, I'll be the mentor." And I sort of went down the spiral, and you were sort of the shining light. So, thank you. I never really told you that, but
okay. Thank you. You didn't have to tell me. You know why? Because I could feel it. I could feel it, and I know as guys we sort of probably don't say what we should say to friends. Like I know if Xavier's out there, my best friend, Xavier, if he's out there watching and listening, we sometimes joke because we've been best friends and maybe my friend Sam, we've been best friends for 25 years, went for ELC3 together. They both live with me, or Xavier not anymore, he moved to Paris. But I can even feel my voice getting a bit funny. I can't say like the L word to them. I don't know why. I just feel a bit funny to them.
Our families are
yeah, I think I've maybe said to them like probably 2 or 3 times my whole life that like I love them, and I don't know if maybe that's something that is normal or not normal. I just get a bit funny with it. I don't know.
Yeah. No, it's something I've been saying to my mates. I love you. Like even saw my mate Troy Swartz a couple of weeks ago. I love you, mate. And it's like we think it, but we don't say it. So, but we sometimes we use actions. Like even when I think you travel like an hour to come to my grit talk. I thought I'll ask Jackson if he'll come and help me along. So you obviously with actions. I think that's sometimes speak it. But
I completely agree. Actions speak louder than words.
Yeah.
And so after you've started the grit talk and you caught up with your friend Matty Ferguson, fitness was one thing that helped you out a lot, and doing the Ironman.
Yeah.
Was running very difficult for you because I know you have a metal hip. Is that correct?
Fake hip. I got a metal plate in my foot. So I thought after that I'm never going to run again. I got told not to run again from the doctor. Really,
St Kilda doctors.
Yeah, St Kilda doctor.
After you'd retired.
Yeah, after I retired, I ended up playing. He said, "Don't play more footy." I played 3 more years of footy, thinking, "No, I'm invincible."
Yeah,
it's catching up on me a little bit now, but got through that run. I just thought, I was going through depression and sitting on the couch all day. I thought, I don't care if I've got a sore hip or it's going to be grind a little bit. I'm going to do it. And I think the journey of saying I was struggling to my mate Matty, and then it was booking in for the Ironman race, and it was like the journey to get there. We're catching up every Sunday, doing something hard. It was just the fitness along the way. Yep. So they say it's not about the what is it?
It's not about the goal. It's about the
destination.
journey.
Whatever.
It's
that
about
one
the journey.
Good one.
It's not about the destination. It's about the journey.
Yeah, and that was exactly right. So I was just starting to surround myself with good people, inspiring people, teamwork, and then it was.
And you found that helped not only your physical fitness and everything else, but that helped your mindset and your resilience for your mind, because you're getting up early, you've got commitments, you've got goals, you've got responsibilities, and you have obviously the destination, which is to do the Ironman.
Yeah.
And once you've achieved it, was there any sort of sense of, I want to do another one, or thanks, my body's cooked?
It was sort of more thanks. What else silly can I do? And I've turned to boxing, but I remember it was years after Dad passed, but I did like the toughest of the Tough Mudder. It was
the Tough Mudders, I remember, yes.
Yeah, and it was for your dad's charity.
Yes.
I remember Dad was like yourself. He'd always help people in need, and we were talking about his charity. And when I was over there, I think his charity was getting investigated, and I saw your dad cry in the car talking about the charity. He goes, I just want to help people. And then
I know it's so sad. Sorry to cut you off. It's so sad what happened with that, because even when he's trying to help people and doing absolutely nothing wrong, but unfortunately just the way the media and reporters and journalism works, it was just causing such a negative sort of energy in Dad's direction when he was literally, all he was trying to do was help sick and underprivileged children, raising millions of dollars to pay for kids as doctors.
I think it was like over $7 million. I remember chatting to him. He was crying.
He was so sad.
And it was on the project. And I remember they were interviewing him, and he's, I'm getting investigated, but obviously I've done nothing wrong. And then Waleed said something.
It's when he came out the jungle, and the first thing he asked him was, "Well, you're not innocent yet."
Yeah, you're not innocent yet. And then I'm thinking, Waleed, you're.
Yeah, no, it just wasn't, because Dad was going on that to sort of get away and just try and and use that as also a platform to him to talk about it and express his feelings. But yeah, it was just really sad to sort of see, because I've said it, I never really saw Dad cry, so maybe that's also why I'm.
Yeah, he didn't cry much. That's why one day I was in the car and he pulled over and it was us.
Because
I think he got a message about it, and
because I don't know. Well, obviously, I know how to cry. I'm a human being, but like I just don't. I haven't cried since sort of Dad passed. I reckon I had maybe 2 or 3 days of letting it all out, and then I haven't since. But I think that just shows, because I was watching Dad my whole life. I saw how strong he was, and I just thought that was my normal.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know how much that sort of made him really upset and disappointed, because he was genuinely just trying to help people.
Yeah.
And that's one thing since Dad's passed, I'm just glad a lot more people are seeing now. I'm glad there's a lot more people starting to realize how many people Dad actually helped. And I think the night after the State Memorial was a perfect night for that, because you got to see so many different people from so many walks of life all say the same thing.
Yeah.
He was generous with his time. He was generous with his money. All he wanted to do was help people. He wanted to make sure you're okay. He was cared. He just wanted the best for everybody.
Yeah.
And
I know he was travelling in the bushfires. He travelled up to see a young kid. I remember I posted it on my Instagram years ago now, because I think I asked permission for the Neo to say, "Come on, let her post this," because I think I had heard the story through someone else, and that wasn't in the media, that wasn't in the news. So there's so many things he did behind the scenes where people think, he's just doing it just to be the face, but he actually cared, and he cared about raising money. So yeah, that was one of the things that sort of was annoying, I suppose. Or people trying to bring you down.
I know, and I think that's just unfortunately in Australia, the tall poppy syndrome. When anybody's always at the top, they just try and drag you down to their level.
100%.
But I also think that's what made Dad so strong, because he was copping that for his entire life. Ever since he got into the Australian team in 1992-93, he was called fat, overweight, who ate all the pies, phone scandals, all of these different things. But just like you and just like me, we always
made him tougher.
Exactly. We always saw him come out the other end stronger. And I think that's where I've drawn a lot of my strength from the last 3 years. And I probably never got the chance to show it while he was still here, because I didn't need to. But since his passing, it's like all of these lessons and everything he was instilling in me and probably subconsciously I was just absorbing it. Now it's finally starting to come out. So it's all because of the shit Dad went through his whole life, and him telling me all of his advice, lessons. That's the only reason why I'm able to be who I am today. And it's also people like you, Bakes, who are in that circle also telling me how to be resilient and all that sort of stuff too.
Yeah, no, I think it's adversity makes you resilient. So I think your dad went through it. He went through the ringer more than most people, because obviously when you got little hawks trying to bring you down, they're trying to find an excuse. So he copped it a bit.
He did. And talking about rings, boxing was another thing that you got into.
Yep.
How many amateur fights have you had now?
I've only had 2, so I called it.
Only is a bad word to use, because even if you get in the ring once, that's still a great effort. You're probably already in 1% of the population of people that have actually had a boxing fight. So
yeah, no, it was very daunting. I think it started. It was the gather round on. I was watching the boys. I could beat those guys, and and I thought, what would be a good fight? And I thought, Stevie Johnson and I had a good stoush. We had a good battle in the grand final 2009, and then we had a rematch. And that's when I think I got reported 4 times in the one game, hitting the broken hand.
Is that when they changed the rule?
That was when they changed the rule. And then he ended up getting me perfectly at the end of that game, because he went to the doctor at half time and he said, my hand's broken. The doctor said, you're going to be out for 5 weeks. So he went out there in the last quarter with the intention of
trying to break yours.
Trying to break my face. I was pulling his underarm hairs out and thinking I'm a little smart ass. And then he just gave me the biggest elbow ever. Got 8 stitches, closed my over for about a week.
Oh, I remember you running off the oval with the blood eye.
Yeah, and it just puffed up. So long story short, me and him caught up. I was at one of my grit talks, and I said, "Mate, we should get on the gather round next year. I think we'd make a good fight." And the Team Alice boys reached out, and there was a card in 6 weeks, and Stevie said it was too short notice. I think he was a bit scared.
I'd be scared to fight you too, mate, so I don't blame him.
No, he wasn't scared. He reckons he'll have me. He reckons he had a longer jab.
Really?
Yeah, he reckons I've got a longer jab.
Is there still a possibility of it
no,
happening?
he said he needs 100K. So
needs 100K.
He wanted 100K, I think he said on the radio, because Joey, Lee Montagna, baited him one time.
Yeah.
Who don't want to fight Bakes? He said, I'll give me 100 and I'll fight him.
Yeah. Wow.
So that was the call out, but then that didn't go through. But then I ended up fighting Brody Holland. He was a mate of mine, Collingwood. So I thought, Collingwood, St Kilda, beat him, and then I had a fight with Damien Locke, who was an ex-Carlton player, and we had like an exhibition with headgear. And we were meant to have a rematch about a month or so ago, but that got cancelled. So still I might have a look for one more fight. If you know anyone out there that wants to whack on.
You still look extremely fit, and I have no doubt whoever you unfortunately decide to fight next will be shitting themselves. But is there somebody, like, do you have top 3 or guests, or not guests is probably the wrong word, oppositions that you'd like to fight hopefully one day, or people you'd like to call out?
I thought it'd be fun doing the footy ones.
Do you have any other big footy?
Gary Ablett Jr. I know Brent Harvey, apparently he's a fair boxer. He took on Hayden Ballantyne and beat him. That was a really good fight. So Brent Harvey would be a good one, I think. So I used to tag him. And he used to give it back tagging. So I used to like playing.
Was there many players that when you were tagging him didn't mind, probably even though you're giving it to them, would give it back to you too?
Well, yeah, he was definitely one of them.
Boomer, Brent Harvey.
Yeah, Boomer. Farmer would give it back a little bit. That's why we had a little bit of a stoush back and forth. But,
Going to the more positives, one of the most positive things you used to ever do with Dad and me as well, poker. Was that actually where you first met Dad? Do you remember where you first met Dad?
Yeah, I met him in the rooms, and I'm pretty sure I did an article.
Of the St Kilda game?
Yeah, the St Kilda game. And I did an article in, I think it was the Herald Sun, about poker. Yeah. And your dad was in the rooms, and Bake's come around for a game of poker one time, and I don't know what year that was. I feels like I've known him 20 more years. Yeah. We're trying to work out the exact year, but so I think we met through poker. I knew nothing about cricket. I think your dad sort of liked that I didn't talk about cricket. All we would just talk about poker.
Well, it's funny you say that, because that's exactly what Sam Newman said. Sam Newman said when he was playing golf with Dad, Sam thinks one of the reasons why Dad was drawn to him so much and why they got along was because Sam never ever brought up or spoke about cricket. So Sam was somebody that Dad could just go to and not think about work, cricket, and just golf, footy, business, just something completely outside the world that it usually would suffocate. Yep. But poker. Do you remember who played in that first game that you went to his house? Is that really pushing the memory?
Yeah, no, I couldn't.
No chance?
I wouldn't remember what date it was, who was there. I think Hamill might have been there.
Well, my earliest memories of Dad's home games, especially with the Saints boys, it was mostly on school nights, where when I was collecting footy cards, Dad would be like, I'm having some footy boys over tonight. Come in the rooms around 8 o'clock, bring your footy cards, I'll get the boys to sign them. And it'd be you, Joey, Rui, BJ, who else would be there? Sometimes some other footy players that had retired. Hamill would also be there. But it's like almost a full circle moment for me, because you played recently at my house, and I had a few of the Saints boys.
Who cleaned everyone out?
I did this. Yeah. But we don't need to talk about that.
No, it's all for fun. Anyway,
it's all for fun. It's all for fun. It was like a full circle moment, because 20 years ago, Dad used to have the Saints boys, and now, in a way, I'm having the Saints boys. And for me, like, I would never have thought that this would be me hosting the games. I always thought it'd be Dad forever. Yeah. And no, I just find it a really cool atmosphere, because Dad had this amazing ability to bring people together. Doesn't matter if it was for golf days, poker, whatever it was, he could just bring people together. Yeah. But going back to poker, positive and happy memories. Do you have some that stand out with him on the poker table? Because we've seen videos.
Yeah,
I've seen the videos when he calls you fuck face and fuck stick.
Yeah, I used to love bad beating him, because I thought I was the unluckiest poker player in the world until I started playing with your dad. And then, just bad beating him. Like every game, everyone was secretly trying to bad beat him because he took it so badly. And it would just be funny. Like if you bad beat him, especially obviously his own home pad, and then you just all watch him, like you hit each other under the table, go, oh, he's going to blow up, he's going to blow up. You bad beat him.
Yeah.
Even you, him and I were just playing here, just us three, and I bad beat him like 3 times in the matter of an hour, and he's cracked the shits and walked out. So he's so competitive, like he didn't care if it was what it was.
Yeah.
Like he gave me a 2 set head start in tennis one time, and I flew. He was just going for winners. I was just brick wall, and I beat him. I beat him in the second. Oh fucking, we're playing here, little fuckstick. He always called me little fuckstick. But then I never played him again. Like one set.
Did
never,
you?
No,
that would have hurt him.
And it just
He
goes, let's play tennis. No. So,
yeah.
But poker was just something. We had so much fun. We went up to that Queensland with the the road trip where you kept on dropping farts and blaming me.
No, that was you, Bakes. That's where I think we got Macca's 6 times in one day.
Macca's, I think your dad had the gold card at Macca's.
Yeah, that was the time. Yep, where we got free Macca's anywhere in Australia.
That was one of my favourite. That was one of my favourite trips. It was we had a month up in Queensland, I think.
Yeah, I think we drove up. It was actually after a poker night, and Dad was ambitious to do it in like sort of one go. So we played poker. It finished, I reckon, maybe 12 o'clock, and then we packed up the car, and then we drove for 9 hours straight. He drove. Yeah, from midnight, got to Sydney at like 7 or 8 in the morning, and it was absolutely pissing down with rain, and we couldn't actually see. But because Dad was such a good driver and we all felt so safe around him, we knew we were going to be okay. Even if it probably wasn't safe to drive, we just knew Dad was a good driver. It was safe. It's fine. Driver. And so we got to Sydney. I think we were there for 2 nights, and then we went to Byron Bay for 2 nights, and then we were in Gold Coast for about 3 weeks, I think. But that was to play in the APT.
Yes.
Down at Southport Sharks with, I think Dimmer came there as well to play in a few games. But
I think that was where I gave him a really good bad beat on the river, I think that was that time when I needed a 2 on the river. And I just remember him shaking his head like it was, usually he'd blow up and just crack the shits, but he just looked at me and he just shook his head with a little slow. He's like, you are a fucking... So that was I just love those moments. And the poker and the golf, like he got me into golf. We tried to get you into golf, but you...
I know. Well, we at the start...
We had a few lessons.
Yeah, we got a few lessons because I would always, my whole life, go everywhere around the world with Dad while he was playing, and I'd sort of be like the caddy.
Yeah.
By no means was I suggesting him what clubs to use or using the thing that can check the yardage. I was no good at any of that. But I think Dad, and especially me, we just loved being together, and I think it was a really cool father-son bonding time just to be able to go to the Dunhill or even places in England or even here and just... be around you guys while you're all having your stories and competing.
Your dad secretly said to me, he's like, "Can you get Jackson into golf?"
He?
Yeah, he's like, he goes, "He won't listen to me. Can you just?" We got you into a few lessons, and I think, but his dream was just to travel around with you and play poker, play golf.
Yeah,
that's what he wanted to do. I think forever.
Yeah, well, at the start of 22, that's when we started getting our lessons at Albert Park because Dad and you convinced me, all right, Jacko, you've got to get the golf bug. It's about time. So I said, okay. So I think we got 7 lessons, but after the second lesson, because I told Dad it went so well, I figured out that, yes, I'm going to have my interlock grip and I know what club, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And then I remember, I think it was the second or third lesson, Dad came down and everyone's like, oh, is that Shane? Well, where is he going? And they sort of just saw Dad walk out to the side of where the driving range was, and there was just me and you absolutely hitting the worst shots ever, and Dad's come down.
Took us a while.
Yeah, he had a pro, or we had a pro sort of teaching us, but then Dad comes over, he's like, Jacko, Jacko, you don't need to interlock your fingers. This is how you should do it. No, you don't want your stance. And I'm like, Dad, this is the pro. Let him do his thing. We're learning. But I end up getting, I think, 6 or 7 lessons. I did lose the golf bug after that because my purpose for playing golf, which was to play with Dad, I obviously can't anymore.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll come back when I get the chance to play with you.
Yeah. But I just said, it takes a while because the poker, I messaged you the other day. I said, it took me a while to get back because you're usually walking in and seeing your dad's happy face, and that was like half the fun, trying to bad beat your dad.
Yeah.
But the other night I just ended up having that big smile back that we hadn't had for a while.
Yes, welcome
back. Felt good.
Mate.
So welcome back. Yeah, it was good. It was good.
Well, thank you for coming. I've tried to... Obviously, we can't replicate the same poker nights he used to have, but I think in a cool, unique and fun way, we're still using his poker table. We're still using his poker chips. We're still using the same wallpaper that he had at his last house, so it still feels like we're in the same environment. He used to think he has the best music taste in the world, and he spent 2 days with his technician making the perfect playlist, which we still use. I click on shuffle before every poker night. So everything's still...
His music was good. He did
have good music.
Yeah.
But I've still tried to get as close to that feeling as I can. And I think so far from all the boys playing, especially like yourself, it did take us a long time to probably get back into the home games. I think in 2022, I played one home game at the very end of the year, and then I think I played maybe one in 2023.
Yeah.
But then I think as a group, we all felt like it was appropriate. Okay, it's been, 18 months now. Let's get back into it.
Yeah.
And slowly over time, more and more games that I don't want to say they're back like what they used to, because they never will be. But like you said before, you had that smile on your face. It's getting there, even though it's not the same. It's, it's its own version now. But I think everyone's having a lot of fun playing. And you have 100%. A photo on the wall. You've won a home game before.
Won one, yeah. I didn't go very good the other night, but we'll do some practicing and take you down next time.
No, that's okay. Do you have on that Gold Coast road trip, there was a lot of funny memories. Do you remember the first night that we got to Sydney and you and Dad were convinced I would be able to drink the same amount of drinks as you guys? And he was embarrassed that I was ordering porn star martinis. He was like, Jacko, what the fuck is that? That's not a drink, mate. A porn star martini. What is that? And I'm like, it's a good cocktail.
Actually, we got a video of you the next
we do. Well, that's what hangover
morning.
That's what I was about to say, because I remember
I just remember that.
I was like, Dad's like, come on, mate, car's ready out the front. Let's go. We're checking out. And I'm like, I can't move. And I'm on the toilet and you guys walk in and I'm just hunched over the toilet bowl. I'm hunched over the toilet bowl and Dad's just laughing at me going, Jacko.
Pretty sure we had to pull over for you a couple of times.
Yeah, and then we had to pull over as well. And he's
That's
like,
right.
Jacko.
Now the memories are flooding back. Yeah.
Yeah, but we've got so many fun memories, especially on nights out. And there's one that I remember very vividly. We were at the nightclub. I think it was called Bedroom in Gold Coast, where it's like a nightclub.
Yes,
there's
I remember that
bedroom like in the big booth or whatever it is. But there's a really funny song that came on, and you're doing like a Mufasa.
I've seen that video a few times.
Yeah. Did you and Dad had lots of fun nights out together when you're in Vegas?
It was just an easy one to make belly laugh. I don't know if we had the same humour, but I remember in Vegas a few nights we were at the craps table, and I was flicking chips over my corner going, hard eight. And I didn't even know what I was doing. And your dad was just in stitches. And so we always had like great stories. Like, you look back on, oh shit, you're never going to get those memories again. But then you look back and at least I've had those memories. And so, it was a lot of fun.
Do you have, sorry to put you on the spot, but do you have one most vivid, happy memory of Dad that you've got? Or that you remember, or it can be a video that you go back to and watch a lot of times.
Well, that night at the bedroom was a fun night. We just had hours of laughter. I think that whole Queensland trip, every day was belly laughs. We're just down the beach having fun.
It's when we'd go to the Burley Pav, and he was wearing his Piggy Blinders hat.
Yeah, we're all bagging him about his like shit dress sense, but it didn't really matter what he was. He'd always have fun, and that beach house was just my dream house. And
down in Palm Beach, Jefferson Lane.
Yeah, it was amazing. My dream house of just waking up and having like a day of just fun planning every day. So nothing really stands out. It was just belly laughs. It was just nonstop.
And that's what I've said numerous times on this podcast. And when people ask me, what's the most funnest thing that you used to do with Dad, or what do you miss the most? And honestly, I say, I can't think of one, because every single thing and every single day I was with him, it was exciting. It could be the car drive from here to Macca's, which would take 5 minutes, but he would try and get there in 2. So everything was really exciting. Poker nights, even just having dinner, always belly laughing. One thing that stands out a lot, which you were there for a lot, was cheering on St Kilda for watching their games, because he would be the most passionate St Kilda fan. Do you remember going to the box with him and always placing multis on?
Yeah, he'd get in there and he'd have his sausage rolls and the pies coming in, and putting the first goal scorer on, and him ripping into players. And I think I stopped really going to the footy after that, because that box was just such a great place to be, and it was so much banter in there. Yeah, I think I went to one game after, and I thought, it's just not the same. But it was awesome. That was awesome. Yeah,
it's obviously tough pill to swallow to say things will never be the same, but it's inspiring to see you, Bakes, you so healthy, you fit, you inspiring kids and helping people with your grit and all of that stuff, even getting the boxing ring. It's all very inspiring, Bakes. So, mate,
thanks, Minnie.
Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. Is there anything you'd like to end on or tell the audience with, or you want to talk about your new bizwa with the flights, or your grit talks?
Your travel business now?
Your travel business?
Well, I just thought, I've started a new online thing, and showed you some discounts we're going to get on Vegas. I'm going to
Half
come
price.
Half
Will
price.
you come to Vegas next year?
Yeah, I reckon I'm going to come.
You'll be there, even
I'll
if
be
it's
there.
for a week or so?
I'll come for a week or two. I don't think I can do a month, but I'll come for a little bit. But,
So you come for a week?
Week or two, maybe
We're
two.
back.
We're back. I reckon we're back this year. I've always wanted to play the World Series of Poker, so I've only been serious one time. But I think this could be the year we're back.
Have you been to Vegas since, Dad?
I've been there once, but it sort of was. I think it was a bit too soon.
Yeah, because that would be one of the biggest things. Because you guys, I was there too, but Vegas was like, apart from golf and poker, that sort of 2-3 weeks in Vegas every year, that was one of the happiest memories ever and funnest trips of all time.
Yeah. Yeah, no, one of my mates took me there, and I think it was just too soon. And the first night, I got my wallet and phone stolen. So I was in my room for I think we're there for 10 days or something. And it was like, I just spent most of the time in my room eating, it's like the movies, eating the chips and room service, and watching watching the funny movies and crying. So I haven't been back since that time, but I think it's time. Just like the poker games are coming back, that brought back, and I think it's time we bring back the good times now.
And it's obviously always sad every time we have to remember or think or talk about Dad, but exactly like you, it's been time now. It's nearly been 4 years. It's gone literally like that, but he has left us with so many happy and positive memories, and especially, like you said, videos and photos as well, that all we can do is remember the good times and hopefully inspire some people along the way that also need some help or are going through something similar.
100%. Don't wait till you've lost something till you appreciate it, I suppose. That's one of the main messages I look at life now. I think appreciate the small things because you don't know how long they're going to last. So thanks for having me on, Jacko.
It's a great message, Bakes. Mate, thank you so much for finally coming on.
Woo!
I'm glad you did this. How do you feel? Feel okay?
Oh, I feel good.
Feel good?
Yeah. Weight off your
Bakes.
shoulders.